I'm Eli.
I'm Charlie.
We're Soul Clap, and we're chilling at our house in Miami right now.
Miami Shores. It's our first official licensed mix CD, compilation CD. Over the year, we've gotten to be pretty close with Johnny White and Kenny Glasgow from Art Department. And as you know, Number 19 is Johnny's label. And so he was like, yo, guys, we'd be honored if you'd mix this for us. And because we're kind of in a kind of intermediary role between Crosstown and Wolf and Lamb, these two families, the UK and the North American thing, we were kind of in a good position to tie together all this music. Yeah.
Was it a difficult mix to do? Did you feel under a lot of pressure?
Yeah, I think there's always pressure on the mixes. I think since we both started DJing, we've been really serious about mixes. I mean, before we even were working together full time as Soul Clap, we would get together, a couple times a year and make mixes together. Before Ableton or anything, we'd basically go through and choose all the tunes and practice each mix so we knew exactly when to drop everything. So it was always very kind of calculated how we were doing these mixes. But then obviously the last maybe 4 or 5 years we've been using Ableton to do the mixes, and that makes it a lot easier and takes the actual pressure of the moment off a lot, because if you have to do it live and get everything perfect, there's this your heart beats way faster and you get this adrenaline rush because you have to nail every mix or you have to start over from the beginning. Whereas with Ableton, what we did the Number 19 mix with, and what we've done most of our recent higher profile mixes with, you have the time to sit around and edit everything until it's perfect exactly how you want it.
Plus, I think with the other mixes, we're more eclectic, experimental, but we still were growing this body of music that was a little bit more club. So this was a great place to get some of that out and show that we have a clubbier, bigger sound.
Obviously, there's a huge buzz about you at the moment. Did you feel that you had to really show off what you could do with this mix?
The music kind of spoke for itself. I mean, the same with our K7 mix, and even with the Resident Advisor. It's just we're collecting.
I don't know. I think for the RA, I felt a huge amount of pressure for that one, especially. There was a period when I started working on it when Charlie was away. Well, we were living in Berlin at the time, and Charlie went on a holiday with his family for a week, and I was really going over it over and over and over again. And I think there was definitely, for me at least, I felt a lot of pressure on the RA one, because that was our first.
Yeah, it was our first.
Our first mix that was going out to a really, really wide audience. But I think that maybe took a bit of the pressure off. We got such a positive response for that, and I think it kind of, since the way we're making mixes maybe is a little different than most dance music mixes, with ups and downs and interludes and things. I think that the response we got from the RA made us feel like it actually worked in the dance music setting, kind of taking this hip hop mixtape style and putting it for dance music. People are actually embracing that now. And therefore, I think it gave us a platform for the Number 19 mix to let the music speak a little bit more, also because we're trying to showcase the music from the label also. Yeah. But, also to not really worry about it as much and just kind of let our style come through. We've always believed in what we were doing. I don't think we would have changed what we did. It took us a little while to get comfortable with who we were as producers and DJs. And I think the better the response has gotten, the more we've been able to be ourselves, which is really cool. And I think the best part about it. But definitely the last 6 months to a year has just been full of surprises. We're really amazed at at how embracing everybody's been.
Yeah, especially in some of these places where we wouldn't think that they were, as caught up with the sound. We were like maybe a little hesitant to go to Italy, and then arrived in Italy and found that people were totally up on what we were doing and ready to receive like anything,
Yeah.
real psyched. Or Eastern Europe. So it feels now that like, the world is ready.
What's it like having that buzz about you? Because you must know just how big you are at the minute, and it must be quite strange, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes it can be a little bit weird. I think sometimes it's a bit rewarding. Eli and I have been at this for, almost 20 years combined. So
if you combine, it's way more than 20. I mean, I've been DJing since I was like 14, and Charlie since he was 15.
Yep.
And he's 29, I'm 20, so it's 14 years each. So it's like it was a lot of work.
It's been a long time.
It's really exciting to actually feel like that all the work we put in, there's actually this reward that's happening now.
Like almost anything, it was kind of right time, right place.
I mean, I'm really glad that it took so long to get to the base before we made the jump, because it meant that, we really have had the chance to find ourselves, like we were talking about before, like this, I guess more hip hop, style into dance music, or just not just hip hop, but all bringing kind of all influences and history of dance music and pop music into today. I guess we wouldn't have been able to do that if, say, we'd been producing or DJing for 2 or 3 years and then this happened. I think that it really was a blessing to have all this time to become comfortable as musicians and as DJs before any of it happened. And it also means that, we have some perspective that it's amazing that what's happened in the last 6 months and that it's happened so quick, but it could disappear just as fast. So, I think to have that perspective, we have to keep working really hard and, keep growing and evolving, I think is really important. The DJ kicks especially really, felt like, bam, that came out of nowhere and was so quick. Like, this I feel like is a career achievement that we could have only dreamed of having, that just happened now, which is crazy. So, I was just hoping that we'd get a chance to release a mix CD at some point before the CD industry was completely gone, So Jonny giving us that opportunity first was super exciting. And then to have this other one, in this like really long-standing series was crazy too.
Was it good to actually do a big project like that with Wolf and Lamb?
It's actually, we had just both moved down to Miami together. So we had the month of November basically where we put everything together, got the exclusive tracks, made the exclusive tracks that from all of us, and got the tracks from all our friends. And, we were close enough with them that we live with them, We've been working with them for over a year, closer and closer and closer. So this was really the culmination of that time together. So originally we thought about doing it, Soul Clap versus Wolf and Lamb, which is still what it's called, but it ended up being way more of like combining our styles, our sounds, us maybe representing with our DJ style what the label is.
Yeah, and like I think one thing we talk about a lot with that is like, well, the number 19 mix certainly as well, but really the DJ kicks really kind of like legitimizes what we've been doing kind of with the Wolf and Lamb collective, and puts the sound on a map in a really powerful way. So it's like, this is like a great time, a great moment.
Is that rain?
Yeah, it's raining.
Bloody hell, that's coming out of nowhere. Doing the album, was it difficult working with them, trying to find like a common ground, or were you worried about it when you sat down to do it?
I think if anything, we were worried about having just done the RA podcast and put a lot of like exclusive stuff on there, and then working on the number 19 mix, and then doing the DJ kicks, to make sure that we were a bit worried that we were going to have enough new music. I think that was the biggest fear. But it worked out great because we ended up writing a bunch of stuff and having some unreleased stuff, and then having these amazing contributions from the entire Wolf and Lamb family. I mean, we have nine new exclusive tracks that have never actually been heard before on the mix. So that's really exciting. And then the rest of it is rounded out by releases on Wolf and Lamb, releases on Double Standard, and Friends remixes on some other labels.
We've spent so much time collaborating creatively, whether it's making music or throwing events or performing together, that we're really like a cohesive group. So it's a joy to work together, and really cool to show the union between Soul Clap and Wolf and Lamb, because like we're really contemporaries. And we've learned so much from each other over the past couple of years.
Do you feel under a lot of pressure going into that series? Because obviously that's got some amazing.
I think maybe at first, but then once the ball got rolling, we realized that we could really bring our own take to it. And I think Eli and I are really up on the history of these DJ kicks. So I feel like we had a clear picture of the energy and the mood that we wanted to bring to it. Really a la Kruder and Dorfmeister style, like something real classy and mature, like a mature sound, which is really kind of, slower, sexier, classier, more mature. That kind of encompasses what we're trying to get across, I'd say.
Yeah, I think K7 was really great to work with also. I mean, really good guidance, and I think that helped a bit. Not really feeling like a pressure from them, but more like advice and like help instead of kind of, you guys have to do this now and make sure it sounds like this. They were really open to pretty much whatever we wanted to do, which was really amazing. A lot of what we've been doing in Miami is just kind of hanging out and throwing ideas against the wall, making sketches of music and just starting 2-3 songs a day type stuff, and really experimenting and kind of seeing where we're at so we can have like a body of work to then cut down to be the album.
It's been a while since we've been like in one place enough to really concentrate on like music production all the time. A lot of it's been like made on airplanes and in hotel rooms, and as you'd imagine, on tour, which is cool. And there's a lot of good stuff from that, but it's cool to have everybody on the same page.
Have you got a direction you want to take the album in, or are you just seeing where things go?
I think that we've always been pretty eclectic with our sound, so that would be probably a good description of what you'd expect from the album. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. But
yeah, it's really like, I think try and do some interludes, so it really feels like an album, which I mean is really hard, I guess, these days because people aren't buying albums. But I mean, just maybe for us to feel like we have this piece of work that's one piece rather than a bunch of tracks put together, I think is the most important. And kind of maybe a body of those tracks would be each one maybe a specific influence that we're then building off of, so like a more hip-hop sounding track, or like a slow jam, like we've done a cover of an Egyptian lover song called A Lesbian, which is almost done, that we're really, really, really excited about. So things like that. Really, it's really going to be about like taking the past look to the future, and I think that's what's most important to us for our first album. I think with dance music a lot of the time, which is unfortunate, most dance music albums that come out really are just a collection of tracks for DJs or tracks for the dance floor, and therefore aren't really albums so much as compilations of like kind of best of a moment or something. And I mean, for us, because our influences are so wide and we've listened to so many albums that aren't dance music over the years, I think we're obviously going to try to set the bar really high and try to reach for the level of a lot of our favorite albums. We've trying to listen to a lot of albums recently, also, and get in the right head mindset. We really don't have that much original material out, like, at all. So this is like a good kind of putting our feet down, like this is what we sound like.